As always, this video is intended for adults 21 and older and is for educational and historical interest only. I'm not here to promote or encourage tobacco use, nor purchasing of any tobacco products. This is all about tradition, craftsmanship, and appreciation of the blend itself. Let's dive in. Welcome back, guys, to the SpurgeonPiper. This is Wilson with you. So I'm not a big pipe collector. I've mentioned in other videos in the past that I've determined to keep my collection to a set number, my pipe rotation, and that's about 16 pipes or so. I've gone above that, I've gone below that, but 16. Some guys go to hundreds if you're not aware. More power to them, that's not me. But with that in mind, I'm very specific, or I've grown very specific on what pipes I buy and why I buy them. Because I want to save money, I don't like buying pipes, and I get it in, I'm really not happy with it, and I gotta deal with selling it again or sending it back to the shop I bought it from, or whatever the case may be. So I really wanna be cautious on what I buy. And so I thought I would share with you the five steps I go through in selecting a pipe. Now let me say up front two things. Number one, this is not a guarantee that you're gonna get a great pipe if you follow these things. I've checked off all these boxes that I'm about to give you, and I haven't had a great pipe. Sometimes they haven't checked off all these boxes and it smoked great. So that's just something that is ultimately, unless you really know your pipes and you've been around long enough to really get down to very specifics and you know what you're looking for, you just may be surprised in a good way and in a bad way. Secondly, these steps can go with pipes that are thousands of dollars. Now, I can also go with pipes that you're gonna buy for 5, 10, 20 bucks if they're estate pipes or just cheap pipes altogether, all right? You can find great pipes that are very inexpensive, so be encouraged by that. You don't have to get the very expensive ones, though if you do, awesome. I have some that I'm about to show you that are on the pricier side, and I have some that were very, very inexpensive. So keep those two things in mind as we go forward. Now let me show you just a few of the pipes I have, and I'll kind of walk through some of the reasons why I picked them out as I walk through the steps. So I have everything from two of my older pipes. I say older, I bought them years ago. I have this Irish Harp by Peterson. This is you can tell it's a bent, it's a fishtail. I don't really buy a lot of fishtails anymore. I usually buy straight pipes, but we'll get into that. Really enjoy this pipe, it's one of my favorites. I also have another inexpensive, and I say these are inexpensive. This one was $90, this one was $60, and I would claim this is like on the bottom end of medium, in my opinion. Like, so very cheap, medium level. This is what I would call that. You might be different. And so here we have this just straight Peterson Iran. That I've had for a long time. I still use regularly. It's in my rotation, obviously. A little bit above the price line here is this Savinelli Eleganza. It's a Prince. Really have enjoyed it. I've had it almost as long as these other ones. Over here, I'm kind of go from oldest to newest. Here's a pipe that I got in when I bought this house I'm in here. By Malcolm Pipe Shop, and he modifies pipes. I love the look of this one, straight pipe. So it was, again, I'm about to get into this, but the appearance sold me on it. And then another pipe that I received by former members of our church, it was as a gift, was this one here, this Prince. It's the most expensive pipe in my collection. It's somewhere around $500 or so, a little above that, by J. Mouton in Louisiana. Incredible pipe maker. And this is one I actually picked up myself. There's a story behind that. And then finally, a more recent purchase, one to my collection, is this Wooden Elf. I want to call this a Canadian, by Orton, I've always wanted a pipe of his. But the appearance grabbed me, straight pipe. It was around $100 or so. So, you know, about little level, I would call, as far as cost. So I wanted to go over those. These are just a handful of my collection, in my rotation regularly, and they're examples of me going through the list I'm about to go through with you, okay? So let's start off with number one. Number one is appearance and material. So I'm kind of covering two bases at the same time, because there's certain materials I'm not attracted to the most when it comes to pipes. Clay pipes, it doesn't matter what it looks like, I'm probably not going to be attracted to it. There are some materials that are wooden that I usually don't go for, though it doesn't mean I'm not going to buy them. You have your cherry woods and things like that. There's other materials that they make pipes out of. I'm not going to immediately go for, but I could. It's possible. Right below Briar is Meerschaum. I have Meerschaum pipes by mbsd.com. They do fabulous job, or they have fabulous Meerschaum pipes. I encourage you to check them out. They're not going to be my immediate go-to. My eyes are just not attracted to them as much as wood pipes. So appearance is going to include material, and that's usually going to be briar or another wood, but usually briar woods. They've stood the test of time. They're well known. I have good experience with them, all that stuff. So number one, with two, or both in number one is material, and then appearance. And going along with appearance, it's not just what they're made out of. What do they look like? It's really simple, isn't it? You want to buy a pipe that you like the look of. It doesn't matter if it's $1, it doesn't matter if it's $10,000. If I don't like the look of it, I'm not going to buy it. So it's pretty obvious that this would be number one. These are examples of pretty much number ones. I like the look of all of these, more so than others. More just really drew me in. Malcolm's Pipe Shop, I mean, when I saw this posted, I had to have it. I mean, just to look. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything else in my list that I'm about to cover. I mean, I was sold on the look of this pipe, and I still am. It's really cool looking. So appearance, material, that kind of go in number one. Number two, that's going to be obviously cost, right? So most of you, we don't have these budgets for pipe smoking that we can just kind of splurge on anything. And if you do, hey, more power to you, God bless you. There's nothing wrong with that. Enjoy what you can buy, but most of us have to be mindful of cost. What can I afford? And if your budget's $20, okay, well, let's look at $20 pipes. If your budget's $100, $200, whatever, great, there's gonna be pipes for you in those areas. Like I said, this covers the gamut. 500 or more on this J Mouton, that's rarely gonna be something I ever do. You know, just a heads up. This, again, it was a gift, but it's been fabulous. I can tell you that. It's one of my best smokers in my collection. So cost sometimes does equate quality. Let's not knock that off. But there's other great ones. I said this one was $80, $90. This Peterson Irish Harp, fabulous, phenomenal. One of my favorite Virginia Perique smokers. Fantastic. And this one I usually smoke Burley's out of, $60, great. I don't have anything really less than that on this table. Obviously you have your corn cobs, so that's up your alley. That's usually not what I want to go to. That goes back to material and number one. But if you like them, man, you're really gonna save money, and you can find some great pipes and great corn cobs pipes there. You can find pipes in that lower range if you're looking for cost. Me, I usually am looking, I have some room if I am buying a pipe. I don't usually buy pipes anymore, but if I have room, I'm usually looking around the $100 range. That's where I feel comfortable, that I'm getting something that's good quality, but I'm not breaking the bank on it. So somewhere around 100, I'll go less, I'll go more. $100 I feel really comfortable, and that's an example of this Orton price pipe. His pipes usually go more than this, but I felt good. He had this one $100, loved the look of it, went with it, happy with my purchase. All right, so cost is obvious. You want to be in your budget. So 1, material, appearance. 2 is cost. 3 is the maker. Who's producing or who's making this pipe? Not all pipe makers are equal. Even the bigger guys all the way down to smaller pipe artists. I like to know who's making this pipe. I've had a video on, like, if this is a no name, or if this is a name you don't recognize, that could be produced in China, and I got a lot of flack for this, whatever, I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm concerned, very broad brush. I'm leery of purchasing pipes from, say, China, or locations like that, because I don't know what materials are using. All right, so Diehl was the example I've used. There's a video on that you can check out if you want to know more of the background. But I want to be mindful. I usually don't get my pipes on Amazon. All right, I don't think you should. Get them from more quality sources. So you got your big names, Peterson, Savinelli. You can't go wrong with them. There's some Petersons I don't like. I have some I have some issues I could go into maybe on another video. But by and large, I still like Peterson, Savinelli, trustworthy. You can't go wrong with those guys. I mentioned Jay Mouton. I mean, he's on the pricier side, maybe not something in your budget, but I can trust him. I met him. I've seen his work. He's phenomenal. He's well known. Malcolm Pipe Shop is a guy I know, but he's not a maker. He modifies pipes, but I've had some other stuff, and I like what he modifies and what he delivers. Or yeah, Brian Orton, who again, who has a good reputation. So what are the reputations? Not just cost, but you want to know the reputation. There's some brands like Rock that fall under Savinelli, I believe, that are inexpensive, but they still have the backing of a bigger, trustworthy company like Savinelli. And so you want to go into details on, okay, I'm buying a really cheap pipe. Why is it cheap? Right? Especially again, I'm going to go to Amazon. So many people buy their first pipes off Amazon, and I really don't encourage that. But you want to ask those questions and know where you're buying. And if you don't know names, you're clueless. You can check out channels or recommendations I've made. I haven't covered this extensively. I have occasionally in the past, or just search some pipe tobacco groups on Facebook or just on internet. Some of the places you can go to on that can be a great benefit, and you'll probably get a good answer and guidance on that. So you want to consider who the makers are. Fourth thing I'm going to get into. So I have all that selected. I love the look of this pipe. It's in my cost range. I can trust this maker, but then I want to look at the bowl and weight size. So the bowl height, bowl width, but then the weight of the overall pipe. So this is something that is that if you're getting into pipe smoking, you think, who cares? And maybe it won't be an issue for you. For me, it's something I really take seriously. I'm always looking for pipes, number one, that are fairly lightweight. I like under 2 ounces. Why? Because I like to clench. I'm usually using my hands. I want my hands free when I'm holding a book, when I'm writing, when I'm typing. So I'm always looking for pipes that I can hold or clench well, that are not going to cause a lot of damage on my teeth or are just difficult to hold in my teeth. You know, and if you got a heavy pipe, it's really not going to happen. Or I love the look of church wardens. Here's another pipe that was on the pricier side that I love. It's one of my favorite pipes in my collection by Spinelli, I believe. I hope I'm not mispronouncing his name, but out of England. He was a jewelry maker who's producing some phenomenal pipes. I love everything about this pipe. I don't smoke it as regularly as my others because it is on the heavier side, and church wardens aren't great clenchers. I kind of can, but it's not really ideal or practical. So I want to think of the weight of the pipe. Again, I usually go 2 ounces or less, and then that also comes down to straight pipes. Actually, that falls more into appearance, I gotta say, and I forgot to cover that. Now I will real quickly. Part of the appearance is, do you like straight pipes? Do you like curved pipes? And it doesn't matter, just go with which one you like. Again, I've drawn more towards straight pipes as of late, but I love some of my bent pipes still, and I might get a bent pipe in the future. What about bowl size? Well, I mentioned bowl size. Why would that matter at all? Well, the bowl size can determine what type of tobacco you may want to smoke in there. Now, when you're beginning, it really doesn't matter. I would encourage you not to worry so much about it. Just smoke whatever tobacco you have and whatever pipe you have. Just put that off, kick that can down the road a bit. You don't want to worry about that yet. When you do, you will notice that there are some bowl sizes that smoke some type of tobaccos better than others. Well, what is that? Well, you know, again, I mentioned this one smokes Virginia Periques really well. What is this? Well, it has a skinny, narrow bowl. It's a bit on the, it's not super tall, but it's narrow. And that's usually known, or most have an understanding that that type of bowl size smokes Virginias really well. Virginia Periques really well. And I concur with that. I found that in my experience. On the contrary, wider bowls, some say smokes Burley or maybe some Englishman's better. So like these two princes each have wider bowls, and they both do. Actually, and again, this is not like a take it to the bank wisdom here. There's some flexibility in this because my Mouton smokes everything great. But this is a guidance. Remember, this is just a good rule of thumb. All right, so weights, bowl size, maybe things you want to consider depending on what you do, what type of blends you like. Last one I'm gonna go with is number 5, and this one's gonna be difficult if you buy it online. But this is, does it pass a cleaner, a pipe cleaner? Now, I didn't really hold to this one for a number of years, but when I finally did, I realized how important it was. I heard recommendation on this one from other pipe smokers, and I followed, and I'm thankful I started following it. Does it pass a pipe cleaner? Well, what are we talking about? Does the pipe cleaner, can it pass through the full pipe, stem, and shank together? So I want to get the pipe cleaner all the way to the edge of the bowl. Can it do that? Or are you trying to feed it through and it just stops all of a sudden because the holes are not in line properly? It's really frustrating when you are smoking a pipe, it's getting that gurgle, you know you're building up moisture and you really want to clean it real quick. It's really frustrating when you can't pass a pipe through. And that's one thing that is a marker of a good pipe, whether it's $20 or $2,000. Can you pass a pipe cleaner through it? So it's one thing I'm always looking for. Can I do that? Again, it's hard to do if you're buying your pipes online. If you buy straight pipes, you're more likely to do so. So if I recall correctly, I don't think this Irish harp, no, I'm wrong. This Irish harp can. It passes all the way through. Phenomenal. I do have some bent pipes that don't. And you might have a bit of a trickier issue with bent pipes. They don't always do that. It's number 5 though. Like, this is not a deal breaker, but boy, it's certainly a nice perk. If it does, it's gonna lead me to possibly purchasing that pipe if I can. Well, what if I buy it online? You don't know. I mean, if you call someone, maybe for instance, smoking pipes, the Country Squire, talk to John David. Hey, that pipe, I'm looking at this pipe online. Can it pass a pipe cleaner? I bet you 9 times out of 10, they're gonna say, hey, 1 second, let me let you know. And they'll pass a pipe cleaner in through there and they can let you know before you buy it. So consider that as you're purchasing pipes. Well, guys, that's all I have. Those are the 5 steps I go through. Those have served me well in buying pipes. I don't want to buy a load of pipes. I like to keep my pipe collection very specific and narrow, somewhere between 16, maybe 20, and that has been good to me. So if you have questions on this, you're welcome to ask me. I'll try to help you as best as I can. I'm not a pipe expert. I listen to pipe experts and I follow what they do, and this is a lot of what they've encouraged me as I've gone forward in my pipe enjoyment. So that's all I have today, guys. I hope you're well. I hope you're blessed, and we'll talk to you very soon.